Can nuns and priests leave the priesthood or stop being a religious sister if they fall in love with someone else? So in other words, if a priest falls in love, can he leave the priesthood? And if a nun or a sister falls in love, can they leave? And the answer is no, but kind of yes. What does that mean? I'm going to explain exactly what that means and exactly what the answer is right after this. My name is Bryan Mercier, and I'm a professional Catholic speaker and the founder of Catholic Truth, an organization dedicated solely to defending and explaining the Catholic faith and the Catholic truth. And in this video, we're answering the question, can a priest and a nun leave if they fall in love? And the answer is, well, let's back up a little bit. No one becomes a nun or a priest right away. I mean, everyone starts at the beginning. So if a girl decides that she wants to become a religious sister or a nun, she goes around and she looks at different groups of sisters and nuns, what they're called orders, and these orders all have different charisms. Now, a girl might like and be drawn to a few different ones, but eventually she settles on one. Now, she may or may not stick with that one, or she may go to another, but the bottom line is once she gets accepted in what's known as the first stage, postulancy or candidacy, she actually starts seeing that group of religious nuns and discerning with them virtually exclusively. And so it's kind of like seeing a bunch of guys or a bunch of girls, but then you find someone you really like and you start to kind of see them. And then eventually you start to date them, which is the next step, exclusively. And that's what the next step for a young woman might be as well, and it's called novitiate. So you go from postulancy to novitiate, which is the second step, where you discern much more deeply and you pray for a really long time and try to discern and decide if this is where God wants you to be. Kind of like if you're discerning marriage, you're praying while you're dating someone to see if this is the person that God wants you to be dating and maybe even be married to. And then eventually, if you decide yes, you go into what's called first vows. It's kind of like getting engaged. Someone who's going to become a religious sister enters first vows, where they really take on the habit and they become a sister, so to speak. And this is the group and the order that she wants to join. Then she takes what's known as her final vows. And this is known as, in the dating world, for people who don't become priests and nuns, this is known as marriage. When a man or a woman finds that person that they love and want to spend the rest of their life with, they marry them. And when a young woman decides and finds a group or an order that they love and they want to spend the rest of their life with, they make their final vows. And it's like getting married. Once you're married, you can't leave. It's for life. Jesus said it's for life. The two become one flesh in the eyes of God. And Jesus said what God has joined together, no man can separate or tear apart. So once you get married, it's till death do you part, under extreme exceptions, like if you're being abused. And it's the same thing with being a priest or a nun. Once you make your final vows, or once you become a priest, you enter into what's known as marriage in a sense. You're marrying God or the church. In other words, it's an exclusive permanent vow. It's an exclusive permanent covenant that you're entering into with God. So, can a religious sister or a priest leave if they fall in love? The answer is no. Why? Because they've already made their final vows and they've given their lives to God. Let's just say I find a woman who understands me better than my wife. She's prettier than my wife. She gets me and we have a connection that's deeper than me and my wife. Can I leave my wife to go off with this other woman? And the obvious answer is no, of course not, because I've given my whole life to my wife. And she is mine and I am hers forever till death do us part. So it doesn't matter how many beautiful women I see, and it doesn't matter how much I connect with another person, even if I might fall in love with someone, which would never happen in that way. It's impossible because I've made a covenant to her and to God. And it's the same with priests and nuns. Before they become priests and nuns, they go through these different steps of prayer and discernment to become a religious sister or nun or a priest. And any time before those final vows, they can leave. It's kind of like if you decide that you're engaged to someone and you don't want to date them anymore and that you realize that you made a mistake, you can leave because you're not married to them yet. So as long as you're dating or engaged, it's fine. And as long as you're in your postulancy, or if you're in your novitiate, or if you're in your first vows, you can leave if you decide, or you don't want to be a nun or a priest, or if you fall in love with someone else, you can leave. But once you take your final vows, it's permanent. Just like marriage in the eyes of God is permanent. So some priests and nuns who claim to fall in love and they leave for the sake of love, they're actually, in a sense, cheating on God the same way I would cheat on my wife, or anyone would cheat on their husband or wife if they went off with someone else and committed adultery with them. So that's the answer. Once you become a priest, final vows. Once you become a nun, final vows. You can't leave even if you fall in love, because your first love is now and forever God. That's what you chose when you become a nun, and that's what you choose when you become a priest. You give your life to the church and you give your life to God. I hope that helps to answer your question. If you have any more questions, if you have any more comments, if you have some follow-ups, please put them in the comments below. And if you have any questions, let me know what you want answered. So if you like this video, please give it a like, and please consider supporting our Patreon page so we can make many more videos and we can grow and expand our ministry. You can be a patron, and I would love for you to be a patron. I will send you a quarterly newsletter for all the lives that are being changed, and you will be directly helping to change lives as well. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions of your own, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and you have a great day. God bless you.